Hi, I'm Burke. I'm Jack's dad, and I'm here to talk about our family's experience with a spinal CSF leak. Well, we've got a pretty big family, 4 kids, both working parents, and a dog. So pretty busy, pretty active. Jack was actually in a lot of sports. He liked playing sports. He played soccer pretty competitively. When this first started, he was playing basketball in the alley in the backyard, and then came in complaining of a pretty severe headache. And when we went into the very first hospital, the diagnosis was just migraines, go home. He seemed to actually feel a little bit better, but then it didn't go away, so we went back to the hospital again. And they did do a CT scan at that time, and they set off a few alarm bells because they were saying there's evidence of some weird stuff going on. It took a number of different steps along the way. It was not a direct path for sure. We ended up doing a lot of our own research, talking to a lot of different doctors, and really advocating for Jack. Finally, there was an MRI that was done that showed that he had some evidence of a spinal CSF leak, and then we ended up doing another one where they actually identified where it was, and then shortly after that they were able to fix it. So the whole process was about 10 weeks. We had a lot of support from family and friends who would help us out, bring us food, help with those kinds of things. And then my wife and I just both tried to do as much research as we could because we weren't getting answers and he wasn't getting better. And so I think that was super important. We were just kind of putting our full self into trying to figure out what was going on, and we put things out on social media, got some answers there. I think it's pretty unknown or rare medical condition, so a lot of people don't really understand it. You say that you had a headache for a while and people just think, oh, it's a little bit of a headache, and so they maybe diminish the experience a little bit. So just trying to get people to understand what it was and the severity of it and how it impacted our son Jack. I think that was probably the hardest thing to communicate. You have to be your son's advocate and your own advocate in a lot of these cases. We had a lot of great medical care along the way, but also quite a few instances of people pushing back on us and almost questioning us as parents, questioning Jack, whether we were abusing him and causing his headaches, things like that. So you really have to stay strong and your child best. Well, now Jack's doing great. It's almost 4 years later. He's back to normal activities. He's a senior in high school, applying to college, and hopefully heading off to college later this year. I will say it took a while for him to fully recover. He did come down with some other symptoms, if you will. He developed POTS, and so it took him quite a while to get back in shape and for the POTS to go away, and for him to resume his normal activities. He went back to school pretty soon after, but he couldn't play soccer for a little while. It took him a while to ramp up to that, but now it's in the rear view mirror, but it's definitely something we think about from time to time and never really goes away totally.